Today we have a bill that partly reverses the damage that this Prime Minister has caused. We all know that after 8 years of this Prime Minister, life costs more, work doesn't pay, housing costs have doubled, and crime, chaos, drugs, and disorder are common in our streets. We know that his policy of freeing repeat violent offenders the same day they are arrested came to us in Bill C-75, supported by both Liberals and their coalition partners. In fact, the NDP wanted to go even further. What are the consequences of their catch and release policy? Violent crime is up 39%, homicides up 43%, gang killings up 108%, aggravated assaults up 24%, assault with a weapon causing bodily harm, 61% increase, sexual assaults up 71%, sex crimes against kids up 126%, kidnappings up 36%, car thefts up 34%. And these crimes are almost always committed by a very small minority. The good news is that we don't have a lot of criminals in Canada. The bad news is they're very productive. And they're allowed to be productive because of the catch and release policies passed in Bill C-75 that allow an offender to be arrested often within hours of his latest crime. Now, in Vancouver, the police had to arrest the same 40 offenders 6,000 times. Wow. Because the police were, and the system was required to release them under this Prime Minister's Bill C-75. The bill before us today partly and modestly reverses the catch and release bail system that this Prime Minister created, but does not go far enough. Our policy is very clear. A Conservative government, a common sense Conservative government led by me, will bring in jail and not bail for repeat violent offenders. Those offenders with a long rap sheet, newly arrested, will be ineligible for bail. Now, when we brought in policies of this sort under the previous Conservative government, and we not only reduced crime by 25%, we actually reduced incarceration rates. Now, this was against all of the rhetoric of the radical left, who said that we'd have to build mega prisons to accommodate all the criminals. In fact, our laws were narrowly targeted at the worst repeat offenders, and they scared the rest of the criminals away. So you actually had fewer criminals, less crime, and therefore fewer prisoners. And that meant safer streets. But this Prime Minister has unleashed a crime wave over the last several years. I just was in Whitehorse yesterday, where at Antoinette's restaurant, where the owner told me his restaurant has been robbed 12 times in 18 months, multiple times by the same offender who is released again and again. In fact, the police told them they were going to stop arresting the offender because it wasn't worth the time of having him arraigned and being released almost immediately. It was easier and more cost-effective to just leave the thief on the streets and let him do his business. That is how broken our criminal justice system is after 8 years of this Prime Minister. And now he's appointed a radical justice minister who says that crime is all in Canadians' heads. It's their imaginations that have gone wild. But the data proves otherwise. It turns out that Canadians are right, Conservatives are right, and a common sense Conservative government will fix the mess they made, fix what's broken with jail and not bail. Now let's bring it home.